Big Thunder was one of my earliest jobs as we go to Frontierland now. It was always an afterthought. It came at the very end. Frontierland had existed in California and Florida. They had been built, and now what land do we have where we could put Big Thunder? And whereas in Paris, we were starting from the ground, and so I said, let's put it right in the center. It's the most important attraction in that park. We'll put it right in the center. And the idea of putting it out on the island, I think, gave us the best Big Thunder there is in the world, because to get to it, the ride has to go under the water to get out to that island. And at the end, the most spectacular thrill segment we've ever done, to get you back from that island, we have to hit a speed in the darkness that's probably unmatched anywhere on a Disney coaster to get back to the land. So the other thing it did is, by being in the center, everywhere you go in Frontierland is enlivened by the excitement and the noise and the sounds and the visuals of those trains running around. It's sort of like the backdrop, whether you're over at Phantom Manor or you're over to the Chaparral stage, you've got that context of the great scene of the West. When we did a lot of research here in Paris, I would go to bookstores that were not tourist bookstores, but to local people that lived here in the smaller suburbs, and I'd look at what were their impressions of America. And they loved the West. It was very popular. They loved the Native Americans, and that whole, what I would call John Ford, the great director, would showcase Monument Valley. And so that we knew we were on safe ground, because just as to me, coming here to look at the beauty of the greenery and the villages and the swans on the rivers and everything is very culturally different than my dry California area, the whole idea of the Monument Valley and that deserty West with cactuses and so forth was very appealing from a European perspective, because it was so remote and distant. So we knew we were on safe ground of doing that, because to put that kind of a visual only 25, 30 minutes from the city is extraordinary. When you look at that and you say, we are about 40 minutes from the Eiffel Tower, and look at this view, it's stunning. And our landscape department goes to the trouble of every year about this time we bring out cactuses and succulents that are kept in storage all winter long, because they'd never make it through the winter, to enhance that look. So I'm very proud of the Frontierland. The layout of Big Thunder is modified to get from the station out under the water, and then it's the same. And then when it comes back, it's different. But that corrected the problem that Florida has and California has, that the last thrill segment is shortened, because when you come to the station, there still has to be enough energy to get you down to the start of the ride for the first lift. So we have to give up that amount of thrill in order to get the train out of the station. Whereas here, because you're going under the water, we get more thrill because we don't have to deal with that. So it corrected what I thought was you should have a continual, more excitement on each of those drops. So the first one is, you have, let's see, we have the Spiral Butte, I believe. No, that's in the second one. The first one has the drop through the splash, and then the second one is the spiral. And then the third one goes down under the water, so they're increasingly more exciting. So this is the only park that has that, because in California, the spiral is the most thrilling part, and then the last one is lesser. So we were really proud that we were able to come up with a way to change the layout on that and make it so not only is it continually getting more exciting, but that you can see it from everywhere in that land. So when you're riding the boats or you're walking around, the Big Thunder becomes the symbol of the whole Frontierland, whereas it was always added later to, in Florida to that Frontierland later at Disneyland, and the park was already developed, so it's kind of pushed into a corner. So here is the dramatic centerpiece for the land, and that's the only park. Even in Tokyo, it's over in the corner. So this is the only park where you look right through the fort as you go into that land, and right there to draw you in is the excitement of Big Thunder. So the placement here is the only park where it was part of the initial opening plan to put it right in the center.
Please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop, and wait until you're asked to disembark. Much obliged.